You ever watch a grown man detonate his entire career because he thought he was smarter than the woman holding all the federal licenses keeping the company alive? Yeah. This is the story of how I, Dana Miller, 42 years old, legacy overhead, according to a man who still pronounces GIF wrong, burned an overconfident MBA's career to the ground without touching a single rule. All I did was stop holding up the machine he never realized was built on my shoulders. So buckle up. Because this is the slow-motion corporate train wreck Matt never saw coming. And I absolutely did. I was halfway through updating an audit sheet, the kind of soul-crushing document that would make a lesser person cry, when the video feed crackled to life. And there he was. Matt. 30 years old. If we were being generous. The type of guy who uses the word synergy in bed and thinks Excel macros qualify as elite engineering. The CFO introduced him as the efficiency fixer, which is corporate code for, we hired a well-dressed axe murderer. Matt smirked at all of us like we were bargain office furniture he planned to throw out. Then his eyes landed on me. As if he was scanning the room, deciding which antique chair to break first. I didn't react. I simply clicked save as on the encrypted folder containing every federal license tied to my name. And renamed it Church Pancake Recipes. Because Dana Miller wasn't going out like a rookie. Lunch came with whispers. I overheard Matt joking with junior analysts about phasing out boomer infrastructure. I'm 42. Not a boomer. But in Matt's world, if you don't TikTok your workflow, you're obsolete. Then came the open plan huddle, which felt like an exorcism of common sense. Matt pulled up a deck filled with nonsense like Agile Compliance Ecosystem, Decentralized Accountability Hubs. 3 interns nodded like they were witnessing the second coming of Elon Musk. Then Matt said words I'd never forget. Some of our team members, especially those with legacy responsibilities, will be reassessed. Then he looked directly at me. Historical contributions. Legacy responsibilities. I felt like a museum exhibit. But I smiled. The kind of smile you give when someone is moments away from stepping into a bear trap that you personally spent a decade designing. That night, I stayed late. Not because I had to. Because I wanted to watch the system while it still breathed. I checked every credential tied to my name. Active FDA certification, Federal Renewal Controls Licensing, PINS Audit, Access Signature Authority. All mine. Still active. Then I printed the one clause most people never read. Section 7C. If terminated involuntarily, all company-paid certifications become null and revoked within 48 hours. It was my nuclear switch. Matt had no idea I had one. Tuesday morning, Matt taped a poster above the copier. Compliance is not equal to complacency. In Comic Sans. That should have been HR's first clue that he was dangerous. Then came the company-wide announcement. Everyone would need to re-interview for their own jobs. People shuffled into rooms like kids going to the principal's office. The new hires came out glowing. Matt really sees me. He's bringing fresh air. Air that smelled like sewage. But whatever. When it was my turn, I brought no resume. Just silence. Matt pulled up a chart. Under regulatory stewardship, my name was crossed out. Next to it, open to be reassigned. He clicked another file. Q3 License Transfer Plan V1, with a comment. Can this be transferred downstream? Downstream meant dump this on someone who thinks FDA stands for food design aesthetic. I left the room calm. But inside, a siren had activated. Back at my desk, I opened the database I built in 2016. My masterpiece. It tracked 43 federal licenses, every expiration date, every governing body, every signature authority. Every single one tied to me. I exported a copy, encrypted it, renamed it Employee Birthday Cake List, emailed it to a private account, and wiped the trail. Matt reassigned my inspection prep to a marketing intern who once asked if FDA approvals had to do with poster redesign. Meanwhile, He assigned me to reorganizing the janitorial closet. Keeping you aligned at a foundational level, he said. Foundational. Like mold. I politely asked if I still had admin access. Oh, he blinked. I think we routed that to Chloe. Chloe, who pronounced PDF as PDF. I walked down the hall, logged into my shadow admin terminal, the one no one knew existed, and revoked Chloe's access. If they wanted me gone, fine. But they weren't getting the map. By Wednesday, I'd lost access to 3 internal dashboards, 2 of which I personally built. HR told me all requests now must go through Matt. Of course. Matt had begun sprinkling landmines into leadership emails. Legacy redundancy, staffing overlaps, redundant certification management. Cute. As if federally mandated credentials tied to my biometrics could be overlapped. I had become officially employed but strategically erased. So I notarized a form. A simple, boring-looking form. Voluntary relinquishment of licensing authority. I didn't sign it. Not yet. But I armed the option. I walked into work the next day smiling like I'd swallowed battery acid. Matt passed me and said, "Hope you're feeling more aligned." I said, "Just tying up loose ends." He grinned. He had no idea every loose end came with a fuse. Monday. Of course it was Monday. Matt stood in the middle of the bullpen giving a TED Talk for sociopaths. Then he stopped behind my chair. Certain legacy roles are no longer aligned with our momentum. Then, effective immediately, Dana Miller's position has been phased out. No meeting. No warning. Just execution by sentence. HR handed me a glossy folder like they were giving communion. I signed my termination papers in one stroke. "I'll need a printed copy," I said. Matt blinked. "It's digital. Printed." 4 minutes later, I walked out with paper proof. I looked calm. But Section 7C had just activated like a buried landmine detonating under the entire company. At 7:13 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Your authority over licenses CN 8835-44, FD 2210-98, and MDR 5081-02 has been formally relinquished. All dependent entities will become non-compliant in 24 hours. I poured a glass of $8 Merlot and put on Golden Girls. Wednesday morning, the company woke up in hell. Procurement couldn't place medical-grade orders. Vendors said, "Receiving entity inactive." Audit portals rejected API calls. The dashboard turned red. Systems choked. Matt casually walked over with a latte. "We'll just update the contact info." Renee, 23, trembling, said, "You can't." Dana was the certifying authority. Matt blinked. "So, do it anyway." "Sir, legally, no one else is registered." Silence. The kind that feels like someone just spotted the iceberg too late. While Matt was melting down, I was at home eating knockoff Cheerios and reading the panicked email chain someone had quietly BCC'd me on. Matt had tried brute-forcing my old license dashboard. The system auto-reported his IP for attempted intrusion. Upper management panicked. "Can we get Dana back? Does her NDA allow communication?" Who approved this restructure? No one knew. Because the only person who could answer was eating cereal. For lunch, I chose soup and wings. I deserved both. The company's LinkedIn still said, "Federally certified across all operations." Cute. Because by Thursday, every vendor, every audit portal, every regulatory feed would know the truth. They had 0 valid licenses. The vines were tightening. At 9:04 a.m., the front desk called. "FDA inspection team is here. They're asking for the license holder." Silence drowned the office. Because there wasn't one. Matt sprinted. He tried to reset my federal login. Access denied. Tried password reset. User not found. He tried calling the Federal Compliance Board. They told him, due to automatic revocation, the entity must register a new certified officer. Estimated processing time, 4 to 6 weeks. The inspectors waited and waited, and then they began writing citations. Thousands of dollars per violation. Per hour. By noon, operations had shut down. Clients were pulling contracts. Vendors were freezing orders. Auditors had escalated the violations to the federal board. Matt's career? Ashes. Upper management. Melting. The dashboard I built locked them out completely. Protocol after auto-revocation. Every single license tied to me had become a deadbolt. Exactly as designed. The next week, my former coworker sent me a photo. Matt, carrying a cardboard box, being escorted out by security. The efficiency fixer had been efficiently removed. Leadership tried reaching out to me. NDA restricted what they could even ask. And I was on my couch, applying for 3 higher-paying remote positions. All delighted to hear I single-handedly managed 43 federal compliance licenses. I accepted the best offer. A $40,000 raise. Better hours. 0 mats. Companies forget one simple truth. Never underestimate the woman who knows how everything actually works. Matt thought I was legacy overhead. But I wasn't legacy. I was the infrastructure. And when they removed me, the building collapsed exactly as expected. I didn't sabotage them. I didn't break a rule. I simply stopped holding up the house of cards. And it fell.